So today we're going to speak about exactly how destructive carbs are to your mental clarity. Picture this. You wake up in the morning, it's a Saturday morning. You want to work on your business, you want to work on your YouTube channel, you want to study for something. You go downstairs and you grab a quick bite to eat before you go do the work that you want. Now we can fall down two different paths here that will most certainly change the trajectory of where our productivity is going to head. In one scenario, you eat a bowl of cereal or oatmeal that's heavy in carbs, raise your insulin levels, and come to a massive crash. On the other hand, you have something like eggs or egg whites or a big meal full of vegetables, which do not have such a large glycemic load, meaning insulin isn't going to be spiked as hard and not have such a massive come down. And this is the dilemma here. Of course, one tastes very good, the other doesn't taste too good, but you need to keep your productivity in mind, okay? See, the reason we don't want to have carbs before a large bout of work is because the insulin spike and the drop leaves you fatigued, lethargic, and most importantly, mentally foggy. So picture this, you probably even had this before, right? You come home from school or something and you know you need to study for a test that's coming tomorrow, right? And your mom, or I don't know, let's say you live alone or something like that, you bake yourself a meal that's high in carbs, right? Let's say you have like potatoes, like roasted potatoes, right? You eat that whole meal up, it's good, but after you finish eating it, 30 minutes later, you just feel tired. You feel like your brain is foggy. It's like you just did like a whole bout of edibles and didn't sleep the whole night, right? You feel awful, bro. All of this will come back to bite you in the ass and hinder your productivity. I first figured this out roughly a year ago when I started waking up early in the morning and being super productive, right, on an empty stomach. And I always wondered, why is it that when I'm fasted, I feel like I can do work tremendously well compared to later in the afternoon after I come back home from school, from the gym, after I eat. I just couldn't comprehend it until I looked into the science of this. And yes, like as your blood sugar level rises and then comes down, you're going to feel mentally foggy, right? So this was my protocol for a long time. I would wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, do some meditation, drink a black coffee, and go straight to work. And I believe that is the best productivity protocol of all time, just because you're on an empty stomach, you can have your caffeine, the caffeine is gonna hit like crazy. But if you can't do that, of course, just try to eat foods that aren't so high in carbs before your long bout of work, because it will drastically impact your productivity. And you could try this for yourself. Wake up one morning and pick up a book, maybe a book of like math, right? Try to do some math equations without eating that morning. Spend an hour just solving math problems on an empty stomach. You could have coffee. Then the next day, wake up and try to do the same thing. Ideally, you could do this on a weekend actually, right? If you're studying. Wake up the next day, have a big bowl of cereal or have oatmeal. Contradictory to what people believe, like oatmeal is good for you in like a bodybuilding sense or just like an overall health sense, but for your mind, it makes you totally foggy due to the higher glycemic index. Eat the food, then do an hour and see how much more productive you were the day that you were fasted compared to the day where you ate the carbs. Now, of course, this doesn't mean to cut out all carbs. Like carbs are fantastic for you, especially if you're trying to build muscle. Just because the spike in insulin levels does lead to more muscle growth, you need to replenish your glycogen somehow or else you're just going to be looking flat, right? Now, this is where it comes to segmenting your life into different areas. If you're a person that works out and wants to gain a lot of muscle, but also is working on a business like I am, you need to kind of segment your life in two different sections, right? One where you're going to be more productive and one where you're going to focus more on bodybuilding or your physical goals, right? So personally, I would have one season of the year where I am cutting, right? And I'm not eating as much carbs, which not only makes me more full and helps me with my cutting goals, but also keeps me more mentally sharp. So right now I am cutting, for example, right? I'm eating much less carbs. And over the winter, I was bulking, eating a lot of carbs, but I was also mentally foggy all of the time compared to how I am now. This is just a quick tip that personally helped me. So try to implement it. Carbs are not the enemy, like whatsoever. Carbs are delicious, bro. They're healthy for you, but you could try to utilize this protocol in a productivity sense that will definitely help you out a lot. So try this out. Tell me if it helps. Drop a comment down below if it did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll see you later, bro. Peace out.